Back to another episode of Disturbing Reasons to Be Afraid of the Dark. Yes, we're doing another episode of Abandoned Catacombs in a nearby town. It's almost finished. I have about, I guess, 5-6 more pages. So I guess after today, tomorrow, 2 more videos and maybe 1 more, I guess. And then I'll be off to y'all with the people that requested. And then we're going to be off to that. I am so excited. I'm ready to be done with this story. I love this story, but it's so much writing. And it's like I can't do anything else till I'm done. Because I don't want to get sidetracked, if you know what I mean. So I just want to finish it and get on to the next one. Because it's taking me so long to write it. I'm just reading it as I go. But anyway, in the video from earlier today, the one I did earlier today, they are back home. Something's wrong with James. She's thinking he's okay now because he's acting okay. But she's about to find out that he's not okay. And something's very, very wrong with him. And it gets worse from here. I don't know if I'm going to get to the trigger warning part. But if you've been hurt in the past by a man, as in physically, trigger warning, that it's going to get that way just for a second. And then it goes away. Well, it doesn't go away, but it passes. Like, it's not a long part, it's just there, okay? So bear with me. If you don't like that part, fast forward, okay? I'll let you know when it's about to happen. I'll put a little thing on the top, just in case if it's in this video. Let's get started, okay? I told you 1,000,000 times not to open doors like a cowboy, I shouted, not caring in that moment about it. You're right, I'm sorry. He leaned in and gave me a kiss on the cheek. And as he did, I noticed that he still had the red mark on his forehead from yesterday. I didn't want to question what happened to his head. In response, I hugged him. I winced for a moment when I felt how tense his body was, like he was flexing every muscle. No, it was worse than that. It was like he was bracing himself for an attack. What's wrong? He asked. Nothing. I smiled and turned back towards the living room. The air was so heavy that I could barely breathe. I had to open the window right away, but I saw then that the windows were already open. Bae, you mind opening the door? It's really stuffy in here, I shouted to James and sat back down on the edge of the bed. I knew I should have felt more relieved to see James was okay again, but I just couldn't shake this bad feeling. I shook my head, telling myself to stop being so paranoid, and grabbed my phone again, another message for Graham. Maya, for fudge's sake. I decided to call him. While it was ringing, I went to the kitchen to open the window, only to see it too had already been opened by James. James, the door, please. It's open, he shouted back. Give it a few minutes, Your Majesty. After only one ring, Graham picked up. Maya, he shouted, sounding hectic. Hey, sorry for not responding earlier. James and I went to bed right after returning back home, and I slept until noon. Oh, thank God. Are you okay? I moved the phone away from my ear as he exhaled loudly, enough for me to still hear him, with the phone almost a meter away. He was very ambitious about hurting other people's ears over the phone. Despite us talking about it several times, in time I learned when to move the phone away from my ear or dodge his screaming, blowing, yelling, and whatever else he would do. What about James? He hesitated to ask. Yeah, he's fine. I guess he was just shocked yesterday or something. Dead silence followed, and the words that were hanging between us in the air were almost palatable. Look, I'm really sorry. His speech suddenly sped up. You were right. It was a dumb idea, and I never should have suggested something so potentially dangerous. I just wanted... Graham, it's fine. I'm the one who should be sorry for being so rude. I had to sit back down due to the heaviness in the air. Maya, I gotta go meet a client. James walked into the room in his formal attire, adjusting his watch. What? Now? Graham, hold on a bit. I moved the phone away for a moment, but it's the weekend. I know, I just really gotta take care of this, alright? I won't be long. He kissed me on the cheek and left. Alright, just leave the door open, will you? The air in here is fudged up. I placed the phone back to my ear just in time to stop Graham's, Mia, are you still there, flurry? Yeah, I'm still here. James just had to go back to work. Man, that guy needs a vacation, Graham responded. I know. After yesterday, he may have to get one whether he wants to or not. Suddenly, I was hit by a gust of air so fresh that I froze in my thoughts and enjoyed the ability to freely breathe and move again. It was like walking out of a sauna into the fresh, open mountain air. So, is he still acting strange in any way? No, not that I can tell. Well, what about last night? Graham persisted. I don't know, it's hard to tell. I went into the bathroom and turned on the speaker on the phone, placing it on the washing machine. It's like he was better than when we found him down there, but still very strange. Well, the shock was probably just gradually wearing off, you know, Graham responded while I splashed water on my face. No, it's different. I wiped my face with a towel and looked in the mirror, appalled at the sight of my face without makeup. It's like while I was in the bathroom showering, he was talking to someone. What do you mean? Talking to who? That's the strangest part. I wasn't able to decipher what he was whispering. But not only did it sound like it was in a different language, but his voice was different. Different. I mean, come on. Everyone's voice is different when they whisper. See? He changed the last word to any annoying whisper. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But I heard James whisper before, and this is not a tone he would be able to pull off. You're worried too much. It's over. It's fine now. Relax. Graham was already back to his old self. I guess you're right. I picked up a stray piece of paper from the floor and went back towards the kitchen. It's just that I was really freaked out. The voice sounded bad. I opened the trash can to throw the paper. I mean, not only that, but when I asked him about it, he what, Maya? I froze, staring at the contents in the trash bin. Milk and egg cartons, discarded candy wrappers, and crumbled up grocery bags, but what was on top caught my attention. Maya, are you still there? Hold on a second. I placed the phone on the ground and leaned in closer to the bin. There was a small, disfigured, fleshy mass on the top, about the size of a hand. When I squinted, I could see that it was covered in dried up blood and sticky hair. A pungent, rotting smell hit me, but luckily my smelling senses are pretty dull, so I wasn't bothered. Without thinking twice, I grabbed the disgusting mass by its hair using my index finger and thumb and carefully picked it up, observing it. A dead rat? What the hell was a rat doing over there? Did we have an infestation? And that wasn't the strangest part either. What remained of his body was horribly mauled, with a missing leg, disemboweled stomach, and some pieces of his body practically hanging by a thread. Maya? I dropped the rat back into the trash bin and wiped my hand on my shirt, taking up my phone again. Hey, yeah, I'm still here. Listen, I'm gonna have to call you back, but let's meet up for some coffee later today. Yeah, sure. Just call me when you want to go. I'll be looking into those engravings we found down in the catacombs. I took some pictures. Gotcha. After hanging up, I dialed James' number and waited for the insistent ringing to stop. By the time I put on a pair of jeans and shirt, James still hasn't answered. But just then, when I thought he might have been in traffic and unable to answer in the moment, the ringing stopped. Hello? I tried to get a response, but was greeted with silence. James, are you there? Still nothing. Hello? I tried louder. Suddenly, an ear-piercing static sound, loud enough to make Graham proud, was heard on the other end, and I moved the phone away from my ear. This wasn't just regular radio-like static or snow. Something was very off about this. The pitch of the sound kept fluctuating up and down, sometimes screeching and in other moments barely audible. James, can you hear me? I returned the phone to my ear, trying to detect any kind of vocal sounds. And then I heard something through the static. At first it was hard to figure out what the voice was saying because it kept cutting out. James, I can't hear you. Stay away, James shouted in the phone, outspeaking the loud static noise. It was enough to make me break cold sweat instantly and have my heart start racing. James, what are you talking? I tried to respond, shouting, just to hear my own voice over the static, but the call dropped before I could finish my sentence. Without thinking twice, I redialed again, but only got the response from the phone provider, stating that the person is unavailable. I texted him, "What's going on?" Right away, missing a few keys here and there due to my trembling hands. Not waiting even 20 seconds, I called him again, getting the same response like before. But then a message arrived for him. I opened it and was even more perplexed than before receiving it. It was just a bunch of gibberish, as if a 3-year-old was playing with the phone and it accidentally sent a text. I could see a lot of symbols, like, I'm going to put them up here what the symbols look like. And some of them were even unrecognizable by my phone, so they were represented in the form of a small square. But there was not a single coherent word out of his text. Before I could look into it more, my phone started ringing. It was James. Without any delay, I picked it up and screamed a frantic hello into it. Maya, it's me. His voice was crystal clear and there was no static. James, what happened just now? Probably bad reception or something. Sorry about that. But I heard you shout, and you just sent me a strange text. What was that all about? Probably just some phone glitch or something. You know how these things can happen from time to time with these dang devices. James, I heard you shouting. His matter-of-fact attitude really worried me. Bae, it's nothing. Don't worry about it, okay? Maybe it was just someone on the street. There's a lot of shouting here. Listen, I gotta go now. I'll be back around 5 tonight. James, wait, I found a rat in our trash. He didn't respond, but I knew he heard me. James? Yeah, I had to kill him and dispose of him. The thing just snuck into our room somehow. I'll have to check if there are any holes. Sorry if it scared you. I was inclined to ask him about the physical state of the rat's body, but I decided not to push it after yesterday's events. In that moment, I didn't know what the fudge was going through his head. Okay, I'm probably going to go get coffee with Graham in a bit. He'll be investigating some inscriptions he took a picture of inside the... I stopped myself from mentioning the catacombs to James. Well, anyway, I'll see you tonight, babe, alright? Yeah, sure, love you. The call left me feeling unnerved. Was James okay? I started to worry that our visit to the hellish underground labyrinth could have had some serious mental effects on his health, but hoped it would be okay in the end. After all, maybe he just wasn't fully himself from yesterday. I shook it off and threw myself back in bed. I didn't feel like going anywhere suddenly, so I just decided to watch some TV. At some point, I fell asleep into a dreamless nap and woke up to the sound of commercials on the television. See that it was almost 4 p.m. and Graham had sent me a message. I brought the phone above my face while lying on my back in bed and checked the notifications from him, ignoring Facebook alerts. I found something out about the stuff we found down there, and it is awesome. Let's skip coffee today. I'm meeting a guy on Skype soon today. He can tell me more about the inscription. Don't be mad. Pretty please? I rubbed my eyes to clear my vision with one hand and almost dropped my phone on my face for the 50th time this year. Yeah, let's meet up tomorrow instead. I'm kind of lazy today. I responded to his message and continued rotting in bed for about 30 more minutes until my stomach started rumbling. I decided I've been lazy long enough for today and that it was time to make some lunch. After opening the fridge and staring at its lack of food, I forced myself to put on some clothes and go grocery shopping. The day was slow and I took my time buying all the necessary foods from the upcoming week. Since the supermarket was closed and since James took the car, I went there on foot. It was great for the fresh air on my face. After yesterday's ordeal, I never wanted to go to a secluded place again. It felt good doing this minor thing until I got out of the supermarket. As I walked out of the store, I heard a raspy but authoritative voice behind me. You woke him. I turned around, startled. At the corner of the store entrance was a raggedy old man with a dirty, worn-out clothes, a messy beard, and an old red cap on his head, which made his greasy, curly hair sticking out all the more eye-catching. You woke him, he said again, just standing there. Needless to say, I was freaked out, so I did the only thing I could think of. I started walking backwards, bumping into a man along the way, and then turning around and increasing my pace. I looked behind myself a couple of times and saw that the strange man was still in the same place, still following me with his gaze. It was very creepy. And that's all the time for we have today. I know this one was a lot better than the other ones because the other ones drug out. But anyway, thank you for watching Disturbing Reasons to Be Afraid of the Dark. Make sure you stay tuned for the rest of this. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment to my channel. And remember, stay scared and Nikki Lose.